Hello, hello. Welcome to the 24 Days of Christmas. So we're reading 24 chapters of Luke. Today is the 23rd day, so we're starting with the 23rd chapter. I'm Brandon Wheeler, and this is Becky. All right, chapter 23. And the whole multitude of them arose and led him unto Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, We found this fellow perverting the nation, forbidding to give tribute to Caesar, saying that he himself is Christ the King. And Pilate asked him, saying, Are you the king of the Jews? And he answered and said, You say it, or thou sayest it. Then Pilate said to the chief priests and the people, I find no fault in this man. And there were more fears, saying that he stirs up the people, being throughout all Jewry, beginning from Galilee to this place. When Pilate heard of Galilee, he asked whether the man was Galilean. As soon as he knew that he had belonged to Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who himself was at Jerusalem at the time. And when Herod saw Jesus, he was exceeding glad, for he was desirous to see him of a long season, because he had heard many things of him, and he had hoped to have seen some miracle done by him. Then he questioned with him in many words, but he answered him nothing. And the chief priests and scribes stood vehemently and accused him. And Herod with his men of war set him at naught, and mocked him, and arrayed him in a gorgeous robe, and sent him again to Pilate. And the same day Pilate and Herod were made friends together, for before they were at enmity between themselves. And Pilate, when he had called together chief priests and the rulers and the people, said unto them, You have brought this man unto me as one that perverts the people, and behold, I, having examined him before you, have found no fault in this man, touching those things where you accuse him, nor ne yet Herod. For I sent you unto him, and lo, nothing worthy of death is done unto him. I will therefore chastise him and release him. For of necessity he must release one of them unto at the feast. And they cried out all at once, saying, Away with this man, and release unto us Barabbas, who for a certain sedition made in the city, and for murder was cast into prison. Pilate, therefore, willing to release Jesus, spake unto them, saying, But they spake again unto them. But they cried, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. And he said unto them the third time, Why, what evil has he done? I have found no cause of death in him. I will therefore chastise him, and let him go. And they were instant with a loud voice, requiring that he might be crucified. And the voices prevailed of them, and the chief priests prevailed. And Pilate gave sentence that it should be as they required. And he released unto them that was for sedition, murder, was cast into prison, whom they had desired, but he delivered Jesus to their will. And as they led him away, they laid hold upon one Simon a Cyrenian, coming out of the country. And on him they laid the cross, that he might bear it after Jesus. And there followed him a great company of people, and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. But Jesus turned to them and said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but for yourselves, and for your children. For behold, the days are coming in which they shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the wombs which never bare, and the paths which never gave suck. And then they shall begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills cover us. For if they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry? If they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry? Okay. And there were also two other malefactors, which they led with them to be put to death. And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, there they crucified him, and the malefactors, one on the right hand and the other on the left. Then said Jesus, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots, and the people stood beholding, and the rulers also with him derided him, saying, He saved others, let him save himself, if he be Christ, the chosen of God. And the soldiers also mocked him, coming to him, and offered him vinegar, and saying, If you be king of the Jews, save yourself. And the superscription was written over in the letters of Greek and Latin and Hebrew, This is the king of the Jews. And one of the malefactors which were hanged with them railed on him, saying, If you be Christ, save yourself and us. But the other answered, rebuked him, saying, Does he not fear God, seeing you are in the same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing amiss, nothing wrong. And he said unto Jesus, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto you, today you shall be with me in paradise. And it was about the 6th hour, and there was darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. And when Jesus had cried with a loud voice, he said, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. And having said thus, he gave up the ghost. Now when the centurion saw what was done, he glorified God, saying, Certainly this was a righteous man. And all the people that came together to that sight, beholding these things which were done, smote their breasts and returned. And all his acquaintance and all the women that followed him from Galilee stood afar off, beholding these things. And behold, there was a man named Joseph, a counselor, and he was a good man and just, the same had not consented to the council and deed to him. He was of Arimathea, a city of the Jews, which also himself waited for the kingdom of God. This man went unto Pilate and begged the body of Jesus. And he took it down and wrapped it in linen, and laid it in a sepulchre that was hewn in stone, wherein no man that before was laid. And that day was the preparation, and the Sabbath drew on. And the women also which came with him from Galilee followed after, and beheld the sepulchre, and how his body was laid. And they returned and prepared spices and ointments, and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment. So, a lot happened. I mean, I can get into what day it was and all that, but crucifixion, one repentant thief, after one account said he was railing on him also, then I guess as time went by, he was like, yeah, he doesn't deserve to be here, I deserve this, he doesn't, and repented himself, but Lord blessed him. So, and of course that theory is Tertullian saying, surely this is a righteous man, but the other account says, truly this was the Son of God. It's like one account, like maybe two centurions there, saying one in response to another. But this is me, this is Bucky. Tomorrow is the last chapter for the Christmas readings, so we'll see you in the next one, everyone. Goodbye.